Good morning. Welcome to Life and Style Relationship Wednesday with me, Pastor Chris Otem, and of course, my co-host is Crystal Okusa, who is here with the ladies already for the retake segment. Hi, Crystal.
Hi, Pastor Chris.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very, very well.
The topic is very interesting, Pastor Chris.
Yes, because we're talking public display.
PDA, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with PDA, by the way. At least it shows that somebody's proud of you, but oh well. We'll have to hear what the ladies have to say on retake.
Yeah.
And then before you start with the men.
Yeah, and I know you're coming back again later with the Style My Wife and Style My Hobby. We now are on Mandate, where we talk to the men, and I've got two gentlemen with me over here. Both are married, and we're going to be talking public display of affection. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Dan Bright. I'm a gospel artist and a graphic designer. I'm married, and I'm a father as well.
How long you been married?
For 1 year.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you call yours PDA or you call it the honeymoon period?
Yeah, that should be honeymoon period.
All right.
Yeah.
And then please introduce yourself.
My name is Pastor Edward Smith. I'm the lead pastor at the Lord Reigns Ministries, Ruaka. Also into business, proprietor of Destiny Studios. And I'm also a speaker to conferences and seminars. I'm glad to be here.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. We're talking about public display of affection.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Is that wrong? Is there anything about it? What are the benefits? And is that even African? Is it a man thing?
It's an interesting topic. I don't think it is wrong necessarily. Being a believer and a Christian, I think necessity is on me to just tell us that everything we do, there must be, the way it is done, we do not overrate it or go overboard, so to speak, because some of this culture, of course, they are from the West, but we are not in an island. Yeah. Because of internet and TV, we are exposed to these things. My problem with PDA would be if it goes overboard.
And what would you call overboard?
It's difficult for me to kiss my wife in the streets. It's hard. I have no problem, holding her as we cross the roads in the city. I have no problem sitting close to her and as we talk and chat. But I may have a problem caressing her in the public, I believe there are things that are better left in the bedroom.
What would you define as public? Because sometimes, I break that to make it easy for you. What would you define as public? Probably even Dan could take it up, because is public just outside of your house? Or is public even within the vicinity of your children? Like maybe you're in the living room, and there are other people over there. It's your family. Do you define that as public?
According to the African setup, it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. But
what doesn't seem right?
The display of public affection.
Yeah.
But it also depends on how far is it. Looking at it in terms of, there are some people looking up to us as role models, something looking up to you to run as far as moral and characters is concerned.
But this is your wife. This is not just somebody you picked on the street.
Yeah, it's not. It's my wife. But
yes.
Still, how far can you go? You see?
Because I really don't understand, when you talk about how far. This is not somebody that is a stranger, your wife. Everybody knows you go the farthest with your wife. It's just that now you are in a setup. For example, I said, if I'm sitting in the living room and I've got people over here with me, do I consider that to be public? And he said, Pastor Edward, he said he can't kiss out in public. So he defines what that means to him. But for some people, that's okay. You know, so when you talk about a how far and we are role models to people, what do you mean by the how far?
Good. Maybe, for example, like touching her, kissing her in public.
Touching?
Yeah, touching her.
Touching is too far?
No, I don't mean just like holding hands and hugging her and such, but there's that far of caressing and such. As
in the salon where you shave,
yeah.
Do they massage your head?
Not really. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
Yeah, much. I don't like it much.
But they do?
Yeah, a bit.
Isn't that double standards?
Well, on my part, I say that I don't think there is a big problem with that. My issue is the extent. My problem with an extent. For example, if you're kissing before people, you know, there are many people. And again, is it a peck or is it deep kissing? You know, because...
But you're a pastor, and if anybody gets married in your church,
yeah.
You, in front of everybody, you will tell them, you may now kiss the bride.
I know you will go there, but how long do they take? Really? Seconds? Really? It's so short. I think my problem is the extent we're going to do that. Because...
So what is acceptable? What is acceptable?
You see, it is said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And the actions that people get involved in, there are many people who are looking at to imitate, especially, let's say, kids, you know, children and all that. And so we must be very careful if we're going to be role models, because that's a problem that is being created. And tomorrow you'll start having a problem asking, you know, for prayers. You'll come to me asking for prayers. Now my kids are doing all these manner of things in their cars and all that.
What if they understand that that is something that is done within a marriage setup? You don't think that, on the other hand, there is the benefit of them seeing how their parents treat each other, because they're not seeing you doing that with a stranger?
Okay, what I can say, there's ages. There are children who are seeing what you're doing in the public. Maybe what they get into their mind and the impact about it, that's what matters. But if there's a certain age that is, they know about love, about affection, but there are some certain people who are not yet there. So now, to avoid having a lot of issues with our kids trying to imitate what the parents are doing, it's safe if we do it at safe places.
Well, you know, the U.S. has just had a change of presidency. Mm-hmm. And in the last speech that the former president gave, Barack Obama, mm-hmm. people were brought to tears. Mm-hmm. And when there was this panel that is talking about his speech, nearly all of them brought up that thing about he made them fall in love with love. Mm-hmm. These are older people. Mm-hmm. These are blacks mm-hmm. who were not thought ordinarily to be people who were very sentimental. The older people, they were men, and they felt like the way this man treats his wife has given them that sense of believing in love again. Mm-hmm. But you were saying that if we treat each other in a certain way, we're going to create a problem with children, and I do not think that that is the case.
No, I didn't say so. I think what I said is we just be very careful. You see, even the instance you're giving was really specific. President Obama really went sentimental, and you know,
he's done that consistently,
emotionally, and we are not whites to start with, but he was emotional. we you know, he went emotional, remembering how far, you know, the wife has been with him and all that, and once in a while. But I'm not thinking they kissed for 2 hours. I watched the thing.
Well, or maybe we need to define what affection is, because probably. We seem to be dwelling on kissing.
Probably.
Because I think consistently there has been a public display.
Well, there should be. It's very important. One of the ways you can keep your marriage running is to keep the fire burning. It's very important. because women are people who are emotional. You know, you have to touch
Aren't
them.
men emotional?
Yeah, but not so much, especially the African man. I don't know what happened. You'll ask God when you get
In your
up there.
first year, is it one, did you say just 1 year?
1 year, 5 months.
5 months, so you're in your second year.
Yeah.
How do you show affection?
I love her all through.
But how do you show your affection?
Yeah, I hold her hand, I love, I hug her, I do all that kissing and such.
But it's in private.
Not mostly in public where everyone is watching, but that doesn't mean I don't show affection to the point that is needed just because I'm not displaying it. You see?
All right. You want to say something?
Yeah.
I think, as I said earlier, from again, it just extend. But these are things we are doing all the time. Like when I leave for work in the morning, I give my wife a peg.
Do men do that?
I
Because
do.
we've got to broaden the conversation from just the three of us.
I do.
here right now.
You know, Pastor Chris, I read something somewhere, sometime just recently, and they said if you see a man holding a woman tightly, probably that's not their wife. You know, I think the African man, we also need to come from cocoons and realize that these women must be loved, these women must be given flowers.
So what you're
and
saying, you know,
chocolate.
it brings something else.
Oh yes, it does.
Because if a man, the perception is that if a man is holding a woman tight, that is not a wife, then what it tells me is that men don't have a problem holding.
You know, that was a research. And I
They don't
know,
have a problem holding. It's just that they have a problem holding their wives.
Some men. I didn't do the research.
Because yeah, but I'm just taking from that perception, like,
Okay.
you know, if it is that, then the men struggle, especially the African men. If they struggle with showing affection, then they should struggle with everybody. But if they struggle with their spouses, but they can hug outsiders, then it means that's not how they are wired. They cannot hide and say we are not wired to show affection.
I guess it is how you've made your marriage work out, how you've worked out your marriage. What I mean is, if your wife at the time they give birth, when you come back home you find them with a stocking on the head, surely, are you going to hug them? Surely. They're not exciting as you're coming home.
You need to hug her,
You
no
know.
matter what she puts on her head.
No. I mean, she was probably sweet 16 or 18, whatever. When you married her, she had nice fragrance. She looked beautiful. She did her
So
hair.
are you saying that
When
there
you
are
come
certain
back home
things-
and getting a stocking on the head,
Are you saying that there are certain things that are affecting that display?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
So one of them is a physical appearance?
A physical appearance,
Okay.
you know, basically not doing your hairdo. Sometimes is a breakdown in communication.
Yeah.
When people are not communicating well, it is difficult to become, you know, to come together. Sometimes
Okay.
it's very, very hard to relate, basically. Number 3 is ignorance. It could also be ignorance, you know. But again, this culture also affects, especially the African men. I would say that, because some of us, where we come from the slopes, if your husband or wife is taking you to the stage, they're the ones, they go first with the bags, so you come later as the man walking. I mean, some of those cultures just need to be broken, because they limit us expressing our love to our spouses.
Daniel, if you walked home and then you found your wife, she's in a lesso, because she's been doing certain things at home, you know, would that hinder you from giving a hug, a peck?
No, it can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can't prevent.
So for you, it is the location, the
the
environment.
location, the environment. And you see, I can hold her hand and walk all through. But now, when it goes much further to that being more intimate out in public, what matters is not the condition that she is in, but who is looking up to us. What example am I setting up there? for
Is it a
those
matter of looking up? Because I'm going to come back to you on that. Is it a matter of looking up? Is it your socialization, like he's saying? Is it shyness, that you're just shy? and you're thinking or an image, that you're trying to keep, that what people will think, is it really a matter of who's looking up to you? Because there are people around there who are far older, they do that, so is it just a matter of who's looking up to you?
No. For example, if we are out there with, for example, in a couples meeting, you do it, you kiss, you hold hands and all that, but out there's somewhere you can't do that.
I'm still trying to get that. Do you,
not really. I think PDA is not just about kissing, if you asked me. I think there's
because
much
both
more.
of you are Bible people, so let me take you back to Bible. There's a king in the Bible who took the wife of Abraham. Actually, the wife of Isaac is called Abimelech, and took the wife of Isaac. Or rather, he wanted to. But when he looked through the window, do you know what he saw? He saw the two of them, the Bible called it sporting, which literally means they had a public display of affection. And he said to Isaac, you should have told me that is your wife and not your sister, because somebody would have come in. Right from the old day in the Bible. So I'm just trying to understand what he means by, when you're modeling people.
And thank God for what you're saying, because the Bible says the same Bible says that she was so beautiful. You see, you get attracted, basically. I'm not saying that
you wouldn't have married somebody if by the time somebody marries somebody, they're attracted.
You're talking about public display of affection. So
to your spouse.
Oh yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
you're already married to this person. The assumption is that you're attracted, unless it's a contract.
No.
Unless
you are attracted, yes. But are we saying that now that we're married and we have a ring, we just throw caution out of the wind? We don't look good and pretty and all that.
Would that also mean that if they change, their affection?
No, not at all. Like changing what? Is it getting pregnant?
No, because you say, the attraction part. So if I am with somebody, they're no longer taking care of themselves. In your opinion, this person is no longer taking care of themselves. Does it change their treatment?
Not really.
Does it stop you from treating them in a particular way?
Not really. I will help them. We will have a cabinet meeting of the two of us.
Because you mentioned the thing that, Rebecca was beautiful.
Yep.
So if she wasn't beautiful, there would be no public display.
I'm not so sure the king would have been attracted to her.
I'm talking about Isaac.
Oh, the Isaac?
Because he's the one who was showing display to the lady.
That's true. That's true. But you brought me the issue of the king being attracted, even though it was somebody else's wife. She was so beautiful, and I want to believe she had taken care of herself. But I also know what you're talking about. I'm thinking Isaac didn't know Abimelech was watching over them, was looking at them. I'm very sure. So, and he thought he was in confine of privacy, because even the Bible says he looked through, I believe, the window.
Yes, but now that brings me even to, I started with the thing of you defining what is public to you. Is public just where people are, or rather strangers, or is public even where people who know you are? What is public to you?
Okay, there are those people who know whom I am, and another, looking at it in the perspective of the topic that you are looking into.
I think I'll bring it close.
Yes,
to
please.
you, safe place. You are in church.
Yeah.
You're sitting with your wife over there. Would you put your arm around her?
Of course.
But the people over there are strangers, right?
You see, they are strangers. See this, I'm saying, to what extent are you showing the affection?
Because
Just
I'm thinking,
placing a hand.
that's affection. And
Yeah, it
do you
is.
do you know that somebody can get distracted just by that, depending on how they grew up? If there is this kind of a person that he was talking about, they've grown up knowing that the wife either goes fast and then the man comes later, or the man goes fast, the wife will follow later. They're not used to even holding of hands. So you're sitting over here and your hand is around your wife the whole of this time. Everything within them is just telling them this is very uncomfortable. So if you're comfortable with that, why would you be uncomfortable with other strangers?
If I'm saying it's the if they affect, I might not know how how much they affected by I placing the hand on my wife.
Yeah.
But there's another extra mile of that can...
So, because why I brought up that is, you know, you may be or may not be for public display of affection, and there's nothing wrong with that because you are entitled to hold your view and do what you're comfortable with. But could it be that sometimes the people who are very comfortable doing that are unaware of their surrounding?
You could say so. You could say so. But I
that
think
they have formed such a habit, it's so comfortable that they're not even aware?
I think if that was to happen, I think that is beautiful. That would be beautiful because then you're not acting. That's who you are. And of course, you know, even as a country, we are run by laws. If someone did that on the streets, there's nothing you can do about it. But for me, I think coming from a Christian background, and being a Christian, I just said there are few things that I probably be careful. You will begin attracting attention. I don't think that's what you want to do. But holding her hands, buying her chocolate, I buy my wife's grocery, by the way. I believe that is part of PDA. You know, I buy...
Would you carry her bag? Would you carry your wife's handbag? You know, he was gonna go on the accelerator, then he stepped on the brake. Would you carry your wife's handbag in public? From one building to the other, you know, walking across, you're holding hands and you have a handbag.
To be honest, I've not done that yet.
Would you? You're not sure.
Opportunity has not come. Opportunity hasn't yet come. You see, there are also some people, you grown up so reserved. You observe like, no, I can't do up to this extent. I can't do up to this. But now, like, when in marriage, there are some things that you can't prevent.
So you begin to learn them.
You learn them. So you now grow with them.
Yeah.
You see, then looking at it in an African setup, you see, it's not, it doesn't seem that right. People are walking through, holding hands and hugging all around in the public. But now, since the Western has influenced most of our African culture, so a lot of things has been put off, and now we embrace a lot.
Hugging is a normal greeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Today, few people shake hands.
Yeah.
They meet and they hug. You know, so that wouldn't even attract anybody's attention.
Yeah. So a lot of things has changed due to Western influence to Africa.
Is it good? Is it bad?
It's not right. It's not.
I think it depends on how you look at it, because you've rightly said, in the days of our fathers, I don't think they even used to hug, really. There's what is good influence and there is what is bad influence. One of the scriptures in the Bible that really guides me is Romans 14 verse 13. It says that if eating meat, you know, causes a problem to your brother, then you'd rather not do it. So basically, whatever you do, you should always know that someone is looking up to you. It could be your niece, it could be your nephew, it could be anyone.
Yeah.
You just need to be careful. But I really support, you know, there should be. If you're married, and within the confines of marriage, there should be a public display of affection. Very, very important.
All right, I want to know your thoughts, all of you who are watching right now. Hit it on Twitter, keep the conversation going. We're not through with it. We're going to join the ladies in the segment that is called Retake. Remember, the hashtag is KTN Life and Style. What's your thought? What's your view on PDA? Would you do it? What are the benefits? What do you think is wrong? Do you agree with Daniel that that's just not for us as Africans? We take a short break, then we come back on Retake. Don't go anywhere.